Hola estudiantes y familias de Lawrence. Hemos creado este video para tercer grado durante la semana del 18 de mayo. Nuestro enfoque serán las humanidades del lenguaje dual y esta es lección número 3. En esta lección, los estudiantes van a trabajar con la fluidez de lectura, comprensión de lectura y el desarrollo del lenguaje. En inglés vamos a trabajar con la fonética, vocabulario y desarrollo del lenguaje. Los objetivos de aprendizaje incluyen escribir oraciones simples, compuestas, complejas, declarativas, interrogativas, imperativas y exclamativas, utilizando mayúsculas, puntuación y ortografía. También vamos a determinar cómo se forman, descubren y colocan en capas los fósiles a lo largo del tiempo. Para tarea número 1, vamos a leer el texto que se llama Hablemos de rocas. Responde a las preguntas según el pasaje de lectura. No olvides volver al pasaje cuando sea necesario para encontrar o confirmar tus respuestas. Asegúrate de usar la estructura de oración adecuada. Resalta o subraya la evidencia del texto. Para tener éxito, tienen que leer el texto y responder a las preguntas según el pasaje de lectura. Aquí podemos ver el texto. Hablemos de rocas, donde tenemos párrafos sobre rocas y también diagramas. Abajo tenemos las preguntas. En esta página también tenemos más lectura, un diagrama y abajo 4 preguntas para contestar. Para tarea número 2 vamos a completar el dictado de hoy. Como es día 3, tenemos que escribir todo el dictado. Contesta las preguntas al final. Para tener éxito, tenemos que practicar la escritura del dictado en español y contestar las preguntas al final sobre el dictado. Como hoy es día 3, voy a leerles todo el dictado y en la parte A lo van a escribir. Historia en las rocas. Los fósiles son restos o evidencia de cosas vivientes que existieron en el pasado, que se pueden encontrar dentro de las capas rocosas. Podrían ser plantas, peces, cáscaras, animales, insectos e incluso huellas de pisadas. Algunos fósiles se forman cuando con el paso del tiempo los minerales ocupan el espacio anteriormente ocupado por material orgánico. Los fósiles ofrecen a los científicos una de las mejores formas de estudiar la historia de la Tierra y de la naturaleza. En parte A vamos a escribir las 4 oraciones y en la parte B vamos a escribir primero los verbos, después los adjetivos y al final los sustantivos. Para tarea número 3 vamos a practicar la gramática y hoy nuestro enfoque serán los adjetivos. Los adjetivos son palabras que describen y modifican a los sustantivos. La mayor o menor intensidad de las cualidades se indica con los grados de adjetivo. Los grados son 3: positivo, comparativo y superlativo. El grado positivo indica la cualidad del sustantivo, un equipo rápido, por ejemplo. El grado comparativo indica la cualidad del sustantivo en comparación con otro. Este equipo es más rápido que ese. El grado superlativo indica la cualidad del sustantivo en el grado más alto. Este equipo es rapidísimo o este equipo es el más rápido. Vamos a escribir los grados positivos, comparativos y superlativo de unos adjetivos que nos dan en el papel. Para tener éxito, van a completar la actividad de los adjetivos en el papel siguiente. Aquí podemos ver la mini lección de adjetivos y abajo tenemos 6 ejemplos y las 3 columnas. En la primera vamos a escribir el grado positivo, en el segundo el comparativo y al final vamos a escribirlo con el superlativo. For task number 4, some words have es added to the end to make them plural. And es is added to words that end in ch, sh, double s, or x. You're going to look at the picture, read the word, then write the plural form of the word on the line. Students will be successful when they have made the singular form of the words plural by adding es. Here we can see our 6 nouns: box, dish, couch, glass, brush, lunch. If you notice, all 6 of those words end in the special endings ch, sh, ss, or x. So we need to add es at the end of all of them to make them plural. For task number 5, students will read the passage, "The Branches of the United States Government." Complete the comprehension questions that follow reading the passage. Students will be successful when they can read the passage to determine the meaning of the vocabulary words highlighted and answer the comprehension questions according to the text. Let's read our text, "The Branches of the United States Government." Have you ever gone with your parents when they vote for an election? Or wondered how our presidents are elected? The freedom to choose our government that the people of the United States are allowed is provided by the Constitution. The Constitution of the United States was written on September 17, 1787. Along with certain freedoms, the Constitution also mandated that there be a set of checks and balances to manage our government to be sure that no one person has too much power. To ensure checks and balances can be maintained, there were 3 branches of government created: the legislative branch, the judicial branch, and executive branch. The legislative branch makes the laws for our country. The legislative branch, or Congress, is made up of both the House of Representatives and the Senate. The House of Representatives is larger than the Senate and is made of representatives from all 50 states. The larger the state, the more representatives are in the House, for a total of 435 representatives. The other body in Congress is known as the Senate. Each state elects 2 representatives to go to the Senate, whether the state is large or small, so there are 100 senators. The Senate gives the A-OK for presidential nominations for the government offices, and they are the only ones who can do this. The legislative branch is where all the laws for our country begin. The next branch of the government is the judicial branch. The Supreme Court is at the top of the judicial branch and is in charge of evaluating laws. The Supreme Court makes all of the top decisions for the nation. It enforces and determines what the Constitution actually meant. Everyone must follow the decisions made by the Supreme Court, even other courts. The Supreme Court was given the power by the Constitution to decide whether federal, state, and local governments are following previous laws that were made. They can also decide if a president is following the Constitution. They are the only ones who hold this power. The final branch of the government is the executive branch. The executive branch actually carries out the laws decided upon by the legislative branch and evaluated by the judicial branch. The executive branch is made up of the president, vice president, and the presidential cabinet. The citizens of the United States have the right to vote for both the president and the vice president. Once the president is elected, they have the choice to appoint the presidential cabinet. The presidential cabinet gives advice to the president to help him or her make good decisions. The presidential cabinet does not have to be approved by the Senate. The president is the leader of the United States and serves for 4 years. They can be elected for office again, but only up to a total of 2 times. The president cannot make decisions on his or her own, though. Most of the decision he or she makes have to be approved through Congress. The vice president supports the president in the decisions that they make. If for some reason the president can no longer serve in his or her position, the vice president would then take over. Only 9 vice presidents have ever been able to serve as president. You, as a child in the United States, are a citizen of our country. Even though it may seem as though your only responsibilities are to do the chores your parents ask of you and complete assignments from your teacher, you have a responsibility to the United States as well. You have a responsibility to be a good citizen and help take care of your school and community. You have a responsibility to take care of your friends and classmates by reporting bullying if you see it take place or are being bullied. All of these roles come with being a good citizen of the United States. What are some ways you can be a good citizen and help contribute to your community? Time to get started. Here we can see some of our comprehension questions. Number 1 asks us, why is the Constitution important to the United States of America? Number 2 says, what are checks and balances? Number 3 says, explain what role the legislative branch plays in our government. Number 4 asks, what two parts make up the legislative branch of our government? Number 5 says, explain what role the judicial branch plays in our government. Number 6 says, what gave the Supreme Court its power? Number 7 says, explain what role the executive branch plays in our government. Number 8 asks, who supports the President of the United States and gives him or her their advice? Number 9 says, even though you are not old enough to vote yet, are you still an important citizen in the United States? Explain why you think that. And finally, if you were president, what is one thing you would change for our country? Explain your thinking. Si necesitan, pueden volver a ver este video de nuevo mientras trabajan en las tareas de esta lección. Por favor, recuerden que tienen que someter el trabajo a la maestra o el maestro de la clase.